So I'm a civil engineer, but I've been working in surface water resources sector and the hydrotechnical and engineering sector for 36 years. So I was exposed to engineering at a really young age. My father worked for the federal government in a government agency that actually designed and constructed a lot of the dams in the Canadian prairies. So I started seeing engineering projects when I was around 7 years old. I then got a job working for the federal government in high school. In the summers, working as an engineering technician, surveyor. And I did that through the summers and decided that I liked that, so I went into engineering right out of high school. I continued to work with the federal government in the summers when I was in university. And so then I graduated. I continued to work for the federal government for a short while and then decided that I wanted to move into consulting, and I moved to Alberta. And I worked in consulting since then, since 1988. Dave Mack and I started our own company in 1999, and we sold that company to Clone Crippen in 2007. Couple things. Engineering is, especially consulting anyway, I really enjoy learning new things. And so the nice thing about consulting is I've been able to continually learn throughout my career and even to this day. Second thing I really enjoy is seeing my projects go from kind of concept through design, through construction, and then through commissioning. And then it's really gratifying to actually be able to drive around my city or drive around the province and see my projects as I go. I worked on a project here in Calgary called the Harvie Passage Project. So I was a project manager and the lead designer, I guess, for it. And it's a project that is on the Bow River, pretty close to downtown Calgary. It's right beside one of our major freeways. Bow River is one of the most prized sport fisheries in the world, right? Certainly in North America. And we were, there was a weir across the river where it was a drowning hazard and it was a fish passage. It didn't allow upstream fish passage. So what we did is we built basically a whitewater park downstream of the weir to reduce the risk of drowning to improve upstream fish passage. It was challenging because you're working within a very important aquatic environment. You want to lessen your impacts on the environment. We have lots of special interest groups. We had 70,000 cars going by the construction site every day. So we had lots of people to comment on what we were doing. And it's rewarding because it now is an amenity to the city of Calgary. It's been incorporated into a park. It's been deemed, I heard on the radio the other day, one of the best swimming spots in Calgary. And it's really rewarding to be able to drive by to work twice a day and see how popular it is and how many people are using it. The project, because it was built within the aquatic environment, there was only certain times of the year we were actually allowed to work within the river. And so the project actually was built over multiple years. So the Discovery Channel Daily Planet came out after we had done the first bit of construction. So the weir was still in operation. They were able to simulate, they had the Calgary Fire Department Aquatic Rescue Team simulating the rescue in the downstream side of the weir. What was interesting was there's no script. And, I'm an engineer. I'm not, didn't go into this for public speaking or being on camera. It was kind of comical to watch how it worked because, I would talk and they'd say that was really good, but a jet flew overhead and can you say it again? And I didn't remember what I said the first time. Then they came back probably a year later when the project was was pretty well, say, maybe halfway done. Because we had fish passage incorporated in the structures, they wanted me to kind of show how that worked. So they had me pretend, almost like I was a pretend fish walking up the structures to show how the fish would navigate through the structures. It was It was interesting, embarrassing, somewhat enjoyable even, actually. Lots. For instance, just recently, we no longer have telephones on our desks anymore. When I started my career, if you would have told me that we would all have a computer on our desk and we wouldn't have a phone, I would say you're crazy. So technology has really, over my career, has been a game changer. You have to embrace it. It's made our jobs easier and more difficult at the same time. By that, the second thing I would say feeds into that is probably the pace of the work. When I was a junior engineer, we would print out or type out our reports. We would courier it to our clients, say in Edmonton. The couriers used to take 2 to 3 days. It would take them a week to review it. It would take another 2 to 3 days for the courier to send it back to us. Now we email it. They get a report. We're getting comments back in a day. So I think technology has made our jobs easier, but also has increased the pace at which we work. I would say first off that in consulting, both generalists and specialists are paramount and are valued. I consider myself a generalist. But one of the best compliments I've received from one of my clients is that they call me a specialist generalist. Both are valued. The reason why I'm kind of a generalist is I've always been pretty adaptable and pretty flexible, and so when the industry was changing and the markets were changing, I would take on different opportunities, and it gave me a pretty broad skill set and a pretty broad exposure to different market sectors. That isn't to say that as a specialist you couldn't do that as well. You need to have the generalist to help execute some of the work, and you need the specialist to oversee the technical aspects of the work. I guess I'm going to say that I really like to win. And winning, can be defined by, everybody has their own definition of winning. For me, winning is, first of all, really enjoying what I do, having fun doing it, but also making sure that, the home life and my family, that I'm there for them. Winning is kind of doing what you say you would do, doing it when you said you would. And so I took all of that competitiveness that I had when I was an athlete when I was younger and kind of put it into the consulting and engineering field, and it fit for me. I would say that academia, engineering school, trained us really to learn. When I came out of school, and I even had quite a bit of what I would call field experience before I even went into engineering. Really, though, we're set up to learn. And so as a junior engineering consultant, embrace that. Recognize that, learning is a benefit for your career. It's also obviously a benefit for your employer. Read lots, research lots, ask questions of the people, your peer group. Your peer group is really important. I think a lot of people think that they should be tapping into senior people, but sometimes it's really a benefit just tapping into your peer group, getting different perspectives. There's lots of different ways to problem solve. There's lots of different answers. Communicate, and have fun while you're doing it.